Right, so we're just going to take another 10 minutes of your time, but we want to preview for you a tool that we're building. It's very exciting, actually, because it's not done. We are, end of August is when this website is going to be officially launched and filled up with stuff, but since you were here, since you're interested in metadata and documentation and harmonization, or at least you're interested enough to show up for today and let us lecture to you, which is enough. We want to preview some of the features of the website and show you the whole thing we've talked a lot about today is making your work citable and findable. And this is the way that we do it, because the software itself produces digital documents, but if you don't have a repository for them, what's the point? So we were funded through the SERISS project to, I say we, GASIS was, but in terms of actually constructing a harmonization website where people could deposit and search for and download documentation on variable harmonization, the software designer for CharmStats, the entire, basically all the code that's been written, this is Martin, I'm pretty sure he should get some acknowledgement. He's built it from the ground up, and he also is overseeing the project for the Variable Harmonization Hub. Obviously, because it's informed very much by the database of CharmStats and the structure of the way we organize metadata. So you've already seen, for instance, the EVS pilot. We're not going to go over it again, but we are going to use it because it is one of the data sets we've uploaded to the Hub to test to show you how it's going to work. So CharmStats is a tool for documenting your harmonization, but it doesn't really allow you to store it or find it, and that's where the Hub comes in. I'm going to skip this. The Hub is meant to be an online digital repository for social science harmonization documentation for long-term preservation. And its aim is to make the sometimes complex process of data harmonization more transparent and workable. You're going to see this when Martin does a live demo, but we wanted to make sure that we could have fixed images. Like, here's the thing you should look at, because sometimes with websites it takes a while. So just to review, you get to a landing page. When we finalize the website, these training materials will be added as well. So one of the things that you don't see on the work in progress that you'll see on live or here is it's pretty much focused on the submission, the browsing, the retrieval, but we also want to make it a place where we can support people with examples like the one article or examples from the EVS on a code book, give them more resources, maybe even put these videos up on the website so people can watch a little bit about FAIR, or watch, actually not watch, listen to, for your podcast version of Anna's, listen about FAIR principles or hear about what Libby said about the GDPR or hear these other lectures. So what you can do on this website is either by hand, you can enter in all the metadata necessary to document a harmonization, or you can use an export function in CharmStats to just upload everything, a project, and it will automatically pull the study information, the question information, all your notes, your references, everything else into the submission process, and then when it's approved, it will be open for searching and browsing. Anyone can visit the website and do a search. If you want to deposit things, you have to be a member. You have to have a login process, but we're going to focus on the search and browse feature because that's what most people will use the website for. Is that right? Yeah. All right. So very easily you can search on a study name or title. Here we've typed in EVS, and it's going to give you the results for any EVS mentioned study in the database. And those are going to be brought up. And I know we're working on an integration of multifaceted search, browse, elastic. I don't know. These are words that I hear in meetings about when the web team talks to each other about what they're doing. And I have a vague idea, but Martin's the expert. So another way you can filter your study is you can search only in the studies that are deposited. So in this case, if you wanted to filter out any study that's not the European Value Survey before doing your search, you can do that to narrow it. And you can also search on a keyword or any word in the variable title or name. Another option is if you know it's variable V175, like I can't remember, maybe it's asked multiple times, all I know is I remember the variable name, you could also search. So the nice thing about CharmStats is because it both houses all this metadata and it connects it, this is giving us flexibility in how people can search the database for information. So an example. We're not going to go through the submissions process, but it does involve a peer review and feedback and approval so that it's not, there's a quality control on the kind of documentation that you can publish. And the submission form, as I said, you can fill it out by hand, or you can also add a CharmStats export. The other nice thing is, let's say that you do have a code book already, it's a PDF, you can't be bothered, but you want it to be findable. You would be able to use this bit here, where it says drop files or click. There is a wide variety of documents that will be accepted here. PDFs, PNGs.
Every file which is supported by your system.
So basically anything you want to drop and drag here, a document, a PDF, an email, presumably a graph, whatever else, your entire code book. So that's it's not just limited to what you can do in CharmStats. We want to make sure that researchers can put alongside whatever they think is important for people to know and have. And this is just also informing you that one of the decisions you'll have to make as a depositor is deciding what kind of license and you want in terms of your deposit. So there's it's quite a professional system that you go through the peer review process to get accepted. And just kind of, this is the interface in terms of source and target variables. And if you're pulling in, let's say, a single project, you can also see the metadata about that to make sure it's the right one. And just the submission process is a long one, but we're not going to go through it. Finally, when you have a deposited document or project or code book, you can also download it. Is this as an XML? XML document. And we don't have an example. Maybe you can pull one down to show what it looks like.
I could try to open it up, yeah.
He's very excited when I ask him to do things. Can you do this for me, Martin? Yeah, I can. And that's basically it. You search for stuff, you find it, you download it. If you're an author, you submit it, it gets reviewed, you get feedback, it gets approved, you get published, and a DOI. And that DOI, of course, did I mention it's all free? Both the software is free and the service is free. So again, we're really doing what we think is important to make sure that researchers have